Welcome back. It is Wednesday. That means Jeff Isaac, the lawyer in blue jeans, is visiting with us. And today we have a question, again, that a lot of folks can relate to. This comes from Margaret in Chula Vista. And she says, my neighbor has a dog that barks at all hours. I cannot get any sleep. I also am going through chemotherapy. I must have peace and quiet. Can I call the police? Please help. Thanks.
Wow. These kinds of things affect a lot of us who have homes and people who have dogs, and they just go on and on. So in this case, Margaret, you've got a couple options. The police, yeah, but they generally aren't real interested. Now, you're on chemotherapy, there's kind of a special case, but police officers are going to go by evidence, and they're not going to stake out the house and say, how many times does the dog bark, how often does it, what's the frequency, how loud?
Well, and it's so pervasive, this particular problem. I mean, everybody, I think, can relate to the noisy neighborhood dog.
So let's start with common sense. The first thing you do is talk to your neighbor. So often we go run to court or run to the police and don't even bring it up. The neighbor may not even be aware, or maybe the neighbor's deaf or whatever. So you talk to the neighbor and try to work it out. That's the first thing you do. Secondly, you do have some options. There is misdemeanor criminal charges if you are a public nuisance, and this could be a public nuisance. It depends on the time of day, depends on the frequency of the dog barking, the loudness, and it depends in some communities as to how many people are affected, whether both sides are hearing this, whether only one person is. I mean, there's a lot of issues here. So that could be the criminal part. It's not normally enforced very well. I'll tell you that right now. The other side would be civil. You can go to small claims court. You can actually, again, talk to them first and try to resolve it, but you can file a lawsuit, and it's called a tort action, where you're basically, it's got to be reasonable. So you got to say, is it an unreasonable amount of noise that's going on? And they do look at your situation. She's on chemotherapy. You have a right to some quiet and some, the health attributes that could come out.
If it gets to that point, could you actually record the dogs from your house and bring that to court with you to demonstrate?
But that could be an isolated incident. I mean, how are you going to record 24 hours?
Right.
So yeah, you could. I don't think that would work. You'd want witnesses. You want neighbors to be able to validate that. But again, so many people in almost everything we talk about, and people that call in or write in these questions, a lot of times they forget to try to resolve it first. They go right to the lawyer. They go right to the police officers. That's not the way to do it. Do it common sense, and then if you have to, have some backup.
Number one, talk to the neighbor first.
Sure, common sense.
All right, common sense. All right, thanks so much. Good to talk to you, Jeff. And if you'd like to send a legal question to Jeff, it's at lawyerinbluejeans@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.